Raise your hand right now if you want potential leaders working in your organization. Raise your hand right now if you want the best people out there working for you in your team, your department, your business. Raise your hand right now, because in JTinTheRaw this week, this is what our focus is. Our focus is hiring potential leaders, people in our organization, people in our department who can lead, not just do the job, but lead and take our business forward. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to JTinTheRaw, show 159. Show 159, and I'm coming to you live from Parramatta, which is in Sydney's west. It is actually the geographical centre of Sydney, and there is so much happening at Parramatta, including a building being built right next to me. So you're going to hear a little bit of banging, I guess, in the background. We'll see how we go with that and make sure that doesn't interrupt us too much as we talk today about how to ensure we employ future leaders in our business, people that can take our business forward. Ladies and gentlemen, JTinTheRaw is all about being raw and authentic, and today it is 10 degrees in Sydney and I am freezing. And I have to confess, when I left home this morning to go to the gym, I forgot to bring a jumper for the day. What do you forget when you leave home? 9 times out of 10, whatever time of day it is, when I'm heading out, I always forget something. And today I forgot a jumper. 9 times out of 10, it's a jumper. I'm an idiot. Good morning, Tim. Good morning, Jamie. Good morning, LBL. How are you? Braxy, good morning. James Infantino, how are you, mate? I think I've got everybody. Sean Lestrange, good morning. We'll see you at lunchtime, mate. So today's show comes about because this week I had a conversation with, actually I'll give a big shout out to Chantel. Chantel works for Anytime Fitness, and she's in Queensland. And we had our very first coaching session. So a big shout out to Chantel and to Lockie for investing in her. I can't wait to work more with you, Chantel, particularly after our first session. And in that first session, she said, I'm doing a group interview today. So good luck, Chantel, with that interview today. I'm doing a group interview and I've got some questions I want to ask. So that got me thinking about interview processes, and I did some research. But first up, when we think about an interview, more often than not, we prepare those questions, we prepare how we want to do the interview, what it's going to look like. My question for you is this: when you prepare the questions, do you in fact also prepare the answers you are looking for? It's all very well to have questions that you want so that you can elicit, really honest feedback. But the question is, do you in fact think about what are the answers you want from those questions? And when I was chatting with Chantel, she was talking to me, okay, so these are the questions I want to ask. So we went through the questions, maybe we reworded them slightly. But then I said to her, well, okay, with that question, what's the goal of that question? Oh, well, I'm looking to find out da-da-da-da-da-da. I said, perfect. That's exactly what we want. What's the goal of this question? Oh, I'd like to know this. Really? Won't you just get that anyway? So let's reword that question in order to get the answer that you're looking for. Now, to me, this is the biggest tip for you guys watching this morning. And there's a few people jumping on this morning that I haven't seen before. Good morning, Dean. Great having you on. Scott, great having you on early this morning. So the question for you is this: when you're doing your interview process, do you or are you aware of the answers you actually want in order to find the best candidate? Or are you just simply asking the questions and hoping that they're going to give you an answer that'll jump out at you, and you'll write that answer down and you'll go, you're the person I want in my organization? So I'm also a very big proponent of those questions, not just being yes or no, obviously, but give me examples where. So when we're asking the questions for people, for example, if you ask a question like, tell me, what's your work ethic like? They'll say, oh, well, I'm always punctual, I'm always on time, never sick, I get my tasks done when they're supposed to be. I can meet a timeline or a deadline. They're going to tell you the answers that you want, obviously. So give me an example where you had a timeline that you had to meet. Give me an example of a timeline where you didn't meet it, and what were the repercussions and what did you do? So we want to actually ask questions. Yes, I do need some sunglasses, Casey Conrad. Morning, Sean. Thanks, Nathan. Good to see you on early this morning. And this is the key for me. Let's ask hypothetical examples, not hypothetical examples, real life examples that they have had in their life to show their behaviors. So I want to give you 6 scenario-based questions that you could be asking in an interview in order to help find the future leader in your business. So the first question I like to ask or think about asking is something that will elicit us information around, are they quick to learn and are they quicker to adapt? So when they learn a new skill, are they then quick to adapt to that new skill? You see, bringing to the table the desire to learn is very simple, but learning makes it difficult, and adapting to that learning makes it even more difficult. So the question you want to ask is, give me an example where you had to learn something, implement something, and what was the time frame that you had to implement that idea in? You see, the highest potential leaders that are going to work for your organization will be able to turn very quickly what they've learned into an action and have an impact. They will learn quickly, turn that into an action, and have an impact on the business. That, ladies and gents, is the key. Number 1 is, are they quick to learn and quicker to adapt? If you like that one, give me a love heart right now. Daphne and Freddie, Sean Lestrange's beautiful kids. Good morning, Daphne. Good morning, Freddie. There's your big shout out, kids. Okay, number two. Are they hardwired for winning with an intent on improving? Good morning, Deborah. Congratulations on the success of Fuel. Looking forward to seeing what comes out with Fuel in 2020. Are they hardwired for winning? And are they intent on improving? You see, I like to employ a leader who understands in business, if you're not winning, there's a little bit of pain there. If you're not hitting your sales targets, there's pain. Not financial pain, an internal pain that drives you harder, that drives them a lot harder. Freddie, Daphne, get to school now. Stop watching YouTube. Stop watching JTinTheRaw. Are they hardwired for winning? Because when they are, they'll go that extra yard. You've got to have a visible passion to crush goals, a visual passion that will rub off on everybody that they work with. That's the key if they are a leader. With a high potential leader or a candidate in your organization, the continual improvement mentality will be the most telling that you'll see. So you want to ask them questions, a question that indicates that they're hungry to maximize their own potential. Give me an example where you used to work or somewhere when you worked where you had an opportunity to really progress. Oh, Braxy's kids. What do they say? Watch on the drive to school. All right, I'm popular with people and kids. I might have to do a show just on kids. Okay, so you want to ask an example of where they have had to work hard to win and work hard to improve. Next question I like to ask, number 3, is are they a boss? Are they a boss? And you'll see why I use that word, at influencing people. Are they a boss at influencing people? I want somebody who's going to work for me, if they're in a leadership role, to have kick-ass influencing skills. Kick-ass influencing skills. This to me is the hallmark of someone who is going to rise to the top in my organization as a leader if they can influence other people. They have to understand data. They have to be able to diagnose data in order to influence. They've got to have a good gut feel. They've got to have high emotional intelligence, a high EQ, to ensure that people's emotions work in their favor, not manipulate. Now, this is a key difference. Perhaps that's a question you could ask. Previously in your employment, have you experienced where you felt you were manipulated? Or give me the difference between what you think influencer team is and manipulator team is. Good morning, Adala. Great to have you on board. Hope you found that kick-ass trainer you were looking for, by the way. If you haven't, spread the word, everybody. Zadi is looking for a kick-ass group trainer in Sydney. Mike Anderson, good morning. So this is a key, ladies and gentlemen. We want our future leaders to understand the difference between influencing and manipulating a team to get the result that we want. So ask them, what is the definition of influence? What is the definition of manipulate? And give me an example where you've influenced people. Or give me an example where you felt you were being manipulated by your boss or the leader of your organization. Do you like that one? If you like the idea of understanding the difference, and this is a high emotionally intelligent question, if you like the difference between manipulation and influence, are they the boss of influence? If you like that, that's number 3. Number 4, do they have a powerful personal presence? You know, when you meet some people, their body language, their stance, how they speak, not in a sense of arrogance, but rather in a sense of personal presence. That is a future leader. That is someone that you want. It is not necessarily they inspire people through words, but they inspire people through their actions. They act with high amounts of empathy. Without being soft, they show confidence. Without being soft, they also show vulnerability. And they get people to follow them, to work with them, and they influence them by their self-confidence. This to me is a real key aspect as well of finding that future leader. So give me an example where you've been at a networking event, where you've been with a whole bunch of customers, where you've been with a bunch of team members, where you felt you were able to have personal presence. Or what do you think the body language of somebody is when they have personal presence inside a networking meeting? Give me an example of what that might look like. Have them stand up and show that personal presence. Role play that. Oh, there's that beautiful word. If Casey's still watching, she'll love that word. Role play personal presence that you would have in a networking meeting, in a sales presentation, when you're meeting a customer for the first time, when you're running a staff meeting. There's so many different ways you can identify that personal presence. Number 5, are they comfortable envisioning the future and executing? Yes, Amanda says, owners need to step up to all these qualities too. Yeah, we do, but I didn't want to say that, Braxy. I'm trying to subtly tell them that. You've just told them with a sledgehammer. And I love it. Number 5, are they comfortable envisioning that future and executing that future? There are plenty of people out there that you will interview who can execute, but they're not great at vision or thinking creatively. And the flip side, there are plenty of people like me who can envision things that could happen in the future for our organisation, but are shit at the execution side of things. That is the key for you guys, ladies and gentlemen. You've got to find someone who's comfortable at envisioning and executing if they're going to be a future leader in your business. Scott Robertson, good morning. Have you found that manager yet, or are you still working on the tools up there? I've seen, like I say, the best leaders are skilled at both seeing the future, envisioning that future, and executing. That's a key. So what's an example of a question you could ask in an interview there? Would be something like this. So can you give me an example where you've had to look on what a target was for the end of a month, where you had to determine what that target was, and then what did you do to ensure you hit that target? How did you work with a customer to ensure that they achieved what they needed to do for the results that you're after? See these are questions where we're asking them for examples in their past employment to identify whether they've got these traits. And number 6, can you make decisions and are you happy to? Again, lots of people afraid to make decisions. Lots of people happy to make decisions, but not necessarily happy to. Good morning, Kent. Good morning, Paul Bedford. Dr. Paul, good morning. See you soon in Hamilton Island, big guy. And Scotty back on the tools. See, being good at making decisions starts with being decisive. Being good at making decisions starts with being decisive. High potential leaders, well, like I say, they'll use data and they'll use their gut feel in order to make decisions, but they'll be informed. They'll use informed aspects to view those decisions so that they then are happy with that decision and they will drive forward with that decision. They're open to new information to help make those decisions. Ladies and gentlemen, I understand it's really difficult to find good people to work for you. I hear it all the time. I think for me, there's a couple of key aspects. And the first one is this. You need to be super clear on the person that you want working for you. You need to be super clear on the person you want working for you. Part of that is having, yes, a very clear job description. Part of that is knowing exactly the skill set you want. But what is more important is that they've got the attitude. If they've got the right attitude, you can teach them the skills to be a team member. So we want to make sure that they have the attitude. And the way you will identify that attitude is to ask them examples of what they have done previously that will show that they are a potential leader, that they have the values of your organisation. So this morning I've given you 6 different questions to ask, or different sort of checklist, if you will, for a potential leader in your organisation. And as Amanda said earlier, maybe this is something you could audit yourself on as a leader in your business. Whether you're the owner, whether you're the leader of a management team, executive team, or whether you are the leader of a sporting team, like a captain of a footy team. Is this applicant in front of you quick to learn and quick to adapt? Number 1, quick to learn and quick to adapt. Number 2, are they hardwired for winning with an intent on improving? Are they hardwired for winning with an intent on improving? Are they the boss at influencing? Can they influence people? Not manipulate. Can they influence people? Do they have a powerful personal presence about them? Are they comfortable envisioning the future and then executing the actions to get to what that future looks like? Can they make decisions, and are they happy to make decisions? Perhaps even stand by those decisions. If you got any value out of JTinTheRaw today, or you know anybody that you think could get value out of today, please tag them in the comments below. Please tag them in the comments below. This came all about from a conversation I had with an area manager for an Anytime Fitness Club who was looking, how do I find the right people? And I hope today I've given you some hint of how to find the right people. I've also done a show 95, which are 5 key questions to ask in every interview. So if you've missed show 95, and I'll share that link with you, and there are 5 key questions there to ask in an interview. And I know Matty Fletcher has used those questions and he has found great team members from that. Quote of the week. Was that building okay? Could you hear that tapping going into the ground? It was annoying me. I hope it didn't annoy you too much. Quote of the week is this. It's a tip around your interviews. Prepare your questions and know the answers you are looking for. Prepare your questions and know the answers you are looking for. If you love that quote of the week, hit me up with a love heart right now. Love heart if you love this quote. Prepare your questions and know the answers you are looking for. Ladies and gentlemen, you've been tuned to JTinTheRaw, show 159. We're on the same time every single week, trying to keep it as consistent as possible, sharing the love around the world as I chew the thin on business. And after 30 years in business, I have just a few thins to chew. I hope you guys all have an awesome weekend wherever in the world you are. Oh, shit, I nearly forgot. Next week, I will be coming to you live from Beirut, Lebanon. Wow. Next Friday, Beirut, Lebanon is where I will be coming from. So tune in. Who knows what will be the backdrop of Beirut, Lebanon. So tune in next week. JTinTheRaw coming to you from Beirut, Lebanon. I look forward to seeing anyone who's watching from Lebanon at the Inspire conference next week, where we will raise the bar on the fitness industry in Lebanon. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in. I'll catch ya on the flip side.